trying to get the last bit of sunlight, so I do apologize if the video looks a little bit darker than it was when I first started filming. But yeah, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I received on Instagram. So the first question I got was, why do some SPFs block your pores when you sweat? It feels like the water sits on top of your skin. So this will usually be dependent on the ingredients of the formulation, particularly the oil levels of the SPF. If the formulation contains obviously a high oil content, then you may feel like it's a little bit heavy on the skin, and sweat, water, etc. will sit on top. Now remember, SPFs are protecting your skin and therefore kind of strengthening the function of your skin barrier, so you are probably going to feel a little bit of it sitting on top of your skin. However, if you are particularly sensitive to that, I would probably look towards more physical sun creams, which might get rid of that feeling if you don't like oil sitting on top of your skin. And you can also look for any sun creams that are oil-free as well. A lot of them will now stipulate if they are oil-free. Or you can opt for something like a sun milk, which typically is known to have a little bit more of an elegant formula, absorbs quickly into the skin. You know, like I said, this one is mattifying as well. So if you have already oily skin, you don't like that feeling, that's probably what I would recommend. But yeah, it is basically down to the oil levels of the SPF. The second question I got is, how do you usually reapply SPF if you have makeup on? So first of all, I will probably dispense SPF onto my hands and then making sure that my hands are clean and then pat in over my makeup. Not ideal. The best way I have found personally is I created my own BB cushion, which I put my SPF in and then I will just blot on top, or you can actually use a BB cream puff or any kind of puff or sponge just to top up your SPF. I really don't wear that much makeup in general, so for me, topping up my SPF is quite easy. But obviously you can look at SPF sprays as well, or SPF powders even, that will also provide you with some protection. So the next question I got was, other than anti-aging, does SPF provide any other benefits? So like I said before in the introduction, when UV rays penetrate the skin, they create free radicals and these basically damage our cells. So first and foremost, I would say it protects you against harmful diseases such as skin cancer or any other skin conditions. Yes, it does have an anti-aging benefit in so much as it prevents the early onset of wrinkles. But I think the main benefit for using SPF daily for me was actually helping to reduce my hyperpigmentation on my cheek area and also reducing the redness on my skin as well. So I got a few of these questions. So I got, I'm unsure of what to use, physical or chemical. Which type of sun cream is best for my oily skin? And does physical chemical hybrid sunscreen suit certain skin types? So clearly this was a very popular question. For me personally, I think the best sun cream you can choose is the one that you know you love and will reapply. Sun cream is only good if you actually use it properly and do use it for its intended purposes. So it really is a personal taste, and I think that's why you find some people that will kind of clutch onto a sun cream and go, you know, this is my holy grail, I stock up on loads of these. I think once you find an SPF formulation that works really well for your particular skin type, then that is the best SPF for you. So I just want to caveat that there. However, I think obviously there's some SPFs that are going to be more suited for various skin types. So for example, sun milk, I'm quite surprised actually that this has a physical filter, because a lot of sun milks that I've tried have chemical filters. But yeah, I think probably a more physical SPF can tend to dry out some skin, because I certainly find that I have to rub it in a lot more because it contains chalk or talc, it just seems to not work with my skin. That said, if you have oily skin types, then a physical SPF can be really good for you, because that talc also helps control your oil levels. I think chemical usually tends to be preferred with combination drier skin types. I think combination filters seems to be the happy medium, and also produces a more elegant formulation. And there's a few key things to probably note, that if you have very sensitive skin, then they usually advise a physical sun cream. And also, if you are pregnant, you will usually be advised to use a chemical sun cream as well, because obviously you will be advised to use a physical sun cream, sorry, because obviously chemical sun creams absorb the UV rays. By all means, all are absolutely fine. Like I said, it's just going to come down to your preference, really. So this was an interesting question that I never really gave much thought to. Someone says, why do we need to apply so much sun cream? Why can't formulas be more concentrated? So first of all, what I will say is sunscreen wears off over time, and therefore needs to be reapplied anyway. And if you think about, like, if you dyed the sun cream and actually saw how you are applying it to the skin, like, you may miss a bit over a bump, or you may miss a little bit by the hairline as well. You sweat a lot, you're touching your face a lot. All of these can kind of reduce the level of how effective your sun cream is working, or remove the sun cream from your face. So it really is a matter of how much it covers and provides that adequate protection. I think SPF 30 is the kind of bare minimum in terms of what provides adequate protection. But now we have the enhanced SPF 50, which tend to be, you know, better and recommended. So yeah, I think that's probably the only answer I can really give on that, in terms of how much SPF you should be using and how often you should be reapplying, which was another question that I got. As a general rule of thumb, they usually say to apply a teaspoon or a dessert spoonful, which usually works out to be 2 to 3 finger lengths long. If you're going like this with your sun cream, rubbing it in and making sure that you are taking it down to the neck area as well. And then it is usually advised, if you are being exposed to the sun, or you have a desk and you're working by it, which is near a window, to reapply every 2 to 3 hours. But yeah, especially if you're out in the sun, I would say to make sure that you are reapplying every couple hours. So someone asked, if you're in colder countries, what's the best kind of SPF to use? I think if you're comparing colder climates to someone who has very dry skin, such as myself, then I do prefer chemical or hybrid filters. But you can also look at sun creams and what their formulations and co-ingredients are. So like I said in the introduction, a lot of them include other antioxidants. So for example, vitamin E is also a great free radical scavenger, but is also great at nourishing the skin, and is, you know, very nourishing and hydrating. So that could be a good option. The Cosrx sun cream, for example, contains aloe vera, which also has moisturizing properties. So that could work. You know, even the hyaluronic acid one, so it's Reuse Moist Sun, doesn't really roll off the tongue, but hyaluronic acid is the key ingredient as well. So if you look at the complementary ingredients and see if they have moisturizing properties, then that could be a good way. So yeah, that's probably what I would advise. So one question was, are SPF in creams, moisturizers, foundations equally as effective? God, I don't know what's wrong with me today. I probably need to take a break soon. I think in an effort to reduce the number of products consumers have to use, a lot of brands came out with these multi-purpose products. So SPF in your foundation, or SPF moisturizers. I think a lot of dermatologists would agree that that is not providing adequate protection from UV rays. I think the way I look at it is I apply my SPF, and then if my foundation or my moisturizer that I put on before my SPF also has protection in, then that's just a second layer of defense. I would never solely rely on the SPF 20 or 30 because it usually is a lower factor to be my only source of protection. That said, I guess it's still better than nothing if you're not using any protection. And I know a lot of people want to find sun creams that sit well under foundation or makeup, so they see this as, oh well, I'm, you know, killing two birds with one stone. However, as you can see from the 5 sun creams I've looked at today, so many have such elegant formulations. They absorb really nicely into the skin, they don't pill, so you shouldn't have a problem finding a sun cream that works for you that sits well under your makeup. Okay, I've changed because that lighting was driving me nuts. I thought it'd be a really good background to have a little bit of sunshine peering in, but then it was just getting in my eyes, and then I think a weird shadow came. Anyways, last question is denatured alcohol in SPF really that bad? And if it is, why is it always a top ingredient? So denatured alcohol is usually added to a product to change the viscosity of it. I think if you think of sun milks and those very weightless formulations, they tend to use denatured alcohol. I will say it's not a toxic product. It's not gonna really damage your skin. However, the issue with denatured alcohol is it can be incredibly drying on your skin. I would say absolutely avoid it if you have dry skin because it will just further irritate it and cause redness. So yeah, I think denatured alcohol is probably used for creating a more elegant and weightless formulation. Alcohol also can help active ingredients and other ingredients in the formulation to penetrate into the skin, so it may be used as a carrier in the formulation. However, yeah, I think why it gets such a bad reputation is it can be incredibly drying on your skin, and that's never good, because if you think about when your skin is really dry, it can crack, it can open up to other aggressors, bacteria, pollution, etc., that then further causes you damage to your skin. So yeah, for me personally, I have dry skin. I wouldn't opt for a sun cream that has denatured alcohol. I don't really tend to use those milky formulations anyway because I have dry skin. But you know, if you have oilier skin types and you don't have sensitive skin, then it might be completely fine for you.